That's right. You've clicked on the anti-hype video. I am
the anti-hype.
There will be no hyping in this video. The fragrances I'm talking about will not be hyped by anyone, not even me. This video is all about the invisible. So don't blink, hold your breath, and take notes. What is this video really about? Anti-hype? It is kind of what it sounds like. In my opinion, no one's really going to be hyping these fragrances anytime soon. You're not going to see them permeating videos across other channels as much as you see stuff like S-Boy or Gisada or Sospiro Vibrato or the absolute latest designer release. These fragrances are not going to do that for their own specific reasons. These fragrances will not get this type of recognition, not because they're too different or way too unique, and definitely not because they're not pleasant, but they are simply overshadowed by other fragrances. And the cool thing is that all of the fragrances I'm going to be talking about, should you be interested in trying them, can be found in one place. They are the sponsor of today's video, that is Buy Beauty. We have talked about Buy Beauty in the past, and I think a lot of you guys did appreciate your experience shopping with them. So they hit me back up and said, hey, can we send you a fragrance? Can we make another video? I said, yeah, let's do it. So one of the 7 fragrances in this video they sent to me, and it's one I've been super eager to revisit for years now, and I'm so happy to finally have it in my collection and get to know it and share it with you. But if you don't know about Buy Beauty, they are another fragrance discounter. There's obviously a lot of them out there, and they're another one. Yet another opportunity for you to save some money on getting some fragrances. They have authentic brand name products, from designer to niche to stuff in between. They offer new deals every month under their monthly deals tab.
Very complicated, I know.
They're always going to have a live representative available for customer service. They really seem to value customer service, so you as a customer
will be serviced.
And they offer free shipping on all US orders $30 or more. So with all that out the way, let's talk about these 7 anti-hype fragrances. I'm going to talk about the fragrance that they sent to me, the one I'm super excited about, at the very end, so you'll have to stay tuned. But first one up here is one I've talked about many times in the past few years. This is kind of a vintage throwback fragrance. It came out in the year 1989. It kind of smells like it does have a little bit of the early 90s written all over it, but there's something special here. There is a beautiful complexity and depth while being super wearable and easy to understand. That was something that was a hallmark of a lot of fragrances of this time, and you don't really see that anymore when it comes to designer perfumery, but we're talking about Homme. This super fresh, clean, soapy fragrance, very soapy, does kind of smell like a men's body wash, but not in your boring, basic Axe type of way. This is a little bit classier than that and way more depth. There's some greenness in here, a fresh kind of sparkling aldehydic brightness to the scent, almost like a clean linen or white t-shirt kind of thing. But there is this sweetness, this ambery, warm sweetness that envelops the scent as it dries down. On my skin, surprisingly, performs quite well for a clean, soapy eau de toilette. I do have to warn you, you have to like soapy scents. Otherwise, you may not care for it all that much, but I think it's fantastic quality for the price you can get it. And even though it's an older scent, I think it still works perfectly today if you like to smell clean. That is Homme. If you've been following my channel for many years now, you will have seen that I actually did a full review on this fragrance when it came out. When it was first launched, I actually made the mistake of buying it after smelling it on a blotter. I went to a store, I sprayed it. I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. I should review this. I took it home. I did wear it. And honestly, I was a little disappointed, not because it didn't smell good, but because it did not smell the way I remembered it smelling in the store on the paper. Go figure. I have learned since then. I actually did end up getting rid of it not long after that, but I got it back because I do enjoy it and I did kind of miss it. From Burberry, this is Mr. Burberry Eau de Parfum. Came out 2017. That's when I reviewed it. That review is still up if you want to go watch that. I haven't seen it since it came out, so
I'm sorry in advance.
But this is a Francis Kirkjohn creation, believe it or not. There is something special here. Yes, it does have this almost generic men's designer freshness to it, but it's achieved in some unusual ways. There's actually an overdose of patchouli in here, which you don't see a ton of in modern men's designer perfumery. Patchouli is really the face here, but it is fresh with some spices, with some green notes, definitely an aromatic fresh quality. So there is a cleanliness here, but it is a fresher scent that I would reserve for the evening time or for the slightly cooler weather, which is why I think it works perfectly for the fall. It kind of wears the way it looks here. There's a darkness, there's an elegance here. You could dress it up night out and smell clean, but with a little bit more interest. Mr. Burberry Eau de Parfum. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. When I first got my nose on this a couple years ago, I was a little disappointed. Now, I didn't give it much of a chance. I sprayed it, put it on my hand. Never recommend this today. I made my assessments up close. And since then, I actually had one of the subscribers here on the channel, Balak, urged me to retry it, actually give it a full wearing. I did, and I was pleasantly surprised. This fragrance does have an odd note breakdown. It doesn't really smell as odd as it looks, but it's still a little bit different. From Gucci, this is Gucci Guilty Eau de Parfum. When you look at the note breakdown here, you're gonna see notes like balsamic vinegar and maybe even some salt and rose. It's such an odd blend, but when you smell it and you're looking for those ingredients, you do kind of get them. You do get this slightly salty, sweet, balsamic vinegar dressing-ish vibe. Not gourmand, it doesn't smell like food, but there is something different about it, and I can appreciate that. And the rose here is up front, adds this subtle, soft sweetness to the scent. But overall, when you just put this on and you smell it without looking at any notes, it does smell a little bit generic. It does have something akin to the original Gucci Guilty. It's going to smell like a mass appealing men's sweet night out designer fragrance, but I find this way more special than the original. I still have yet to smell the parfum, which I do want to try, but there is something here. It's not complete generic trash. There is something a little bit different here. So if you're looking for different but wearable and something that will please other people, if that's what you're looking for, then you're going to find it in Gucci Guilty Eau de Parfum. The last time I did a video for By Beauty, I requested this fragrance. It's been one of my favorite pickups of the year. Not a new fragrance by any means, but it's one that I knew I needed to revisit because years ago I didn't like it, but I love it now, and I love this whole collection now. From Hermes, we have Terre Hermes. This is the Parfum, the pure Parfum version. This has fall written all over it. This is lots of vetiver, dry, slightly bitter, fresh, woody vetiver mixed with this zesty orange feel, a little bit of spice in there. And what makes this different from the Eau de Toilette predecessor is it is rounder, it's smoother, it's a little bit more dense, less fresh, less diffusive, kind of more congealed, a little bit less rough around the edges too. So for those who did not like the original, you might actually like this more. Dare I say it's more refined, less harsh, not necessarily stronger. Again, when you see Parfum, that doesn't mean it's a stronger version. It could be more concentrated, but that does not mean it's going to perform more strongly. So the quicker you can get rid of that notion, the more happy you'll be. But this is a perfect Parfum flanker, I do have to say. Terre Hermes Parfum. Now, I'll be real here. I have kind of hyped this fragrance over the past year or two since I got it. It doesn't get talked about often enough in light of other fragrances, but I think it is getting maybe a little bit more talk over the past year or so. But this is good stuff. From the brand of Narciso Rodriguez, we have Bleu Noir. This is the Eau de Parfum version. Is it special? No, I wouldn't say it is the most special, knock it out of the park kind of designer fragrance. It's not super unique, but it is decidedly a little different from what you would expect out of a blue fragrance. Almost fresh shower gel. The illusion of that is here, but it's actually made by way of musks. Lots of soft, fresh, slightly alluring musks, a little bit of this kind of citrusy, fruity freshness in a way. It does behave in this fresh cottony kind of textural way, and it's an easy wear. It's very clean smelling. When you catch it in the air, it smells like, okay, you're put together, but there is a little bit of a darkness here. There's something, again, a little bit special that I think makes it stand out from your standard blue fragrance today. It's one of the few blue fragrances I can truly endorse as something a little different, easy to wear, but still a little bit interesting. That is Narciso Rodriguez Bleu Noir Eau de Parfum. Up next is a fragrance that I wouldn't say it's completely unknown or underrated or anything like that. I think it's fairly well known, but the problem is that there's so many flankers in this collection that this is already being overlooked. We're talking about the 1 Million collection, which I'm not really a fan of. I do have Lucky, which is, in my opinion, to date, the best from the line. I have yet to try the newest one, Royal. At least at the time I'm filming this, that's the newest. but that's what people are talking about now. People are not really talking about the parfum anymore. This is already losing its limelight, which is what happens when you just release flanker after flanker after flanker. They kind of just eat each other up, cannibalize each other, make the previous one obsolete, depending on what it brings to the table. But I do think this brings something a little bit special to the table. It's not what I expected for a men's fragrance. This is kind of a coconutty, white, floral, sweet men's fragrance. When I saw that this had tuberose, things like that, I was like, really? What is this? What are they going for here? This is very different. And it does remind me of the original 1 Million. It does have that very pervasive sweetness, but the white floral vibe makes it different, makes it softer, makes it almost powdery in a way, but it doesn't lean terribly feminine. And if anything, it's pretty unisex. But as it dries down, the white florals do fade. You're left with this creamy coconut. And I do almost get this leathery, woody facet in the dry down that I think saves it, so to speak, and makes it as masculine as you might hope it is. But this is by no means like a gentlemanly, mature man's fragrance. This is kind of boyish in a way, but nowhere near as much as the original renditions of it. So I can easily endorse this one. I am still getting to know it, but it did surprise me, which is why it's here, and also because no one's talking about it quite as much these days. So let me know if you do dig 1 Million Parfum. I'm not gonna sit here and rate it super highly. Right now it's like a 7 out of 10 for me. Better than I thought, but more to come as I get to wear it more this fall. 1 Million Parfum from Paco Rabanne. And you've been waiting for this. If you skipped here without seeing all the rest,
I'm disappointed.
Not mad at you, but I know you can do better. This is from the house of Creed. This is a fragrance from Creed you don't really see anyone talking about. It's highly overlooked. Some people say it's not worth the price. Some people say it's old-fashioned. Some people say it's too weak, whatever you want. But there's people out there who appreciate it. I'm one of them. I first smelled this years ago on different occasions, and I only smelled it on a blotter. I remember enjoying it, but I couldn't remember the scent. It didn't really stand out to me, but I've been curious about it ever since because no one talks about it. So I requested this from By Beauty. They sent it over. I've been getting to know it. It is my scent of the day today. And let me tell you what I have to say about it. This is Tabarome Millesime. I would say kind of a lost, forgotten scent, but not really. They're still producing it. This is a newer bottle. In a day's wearing so far, I can confirm that this is a fairly lighter fragrance. So if you're looking for beast mode longevity, which I don't think is necessary out of every fragrance, even if they're expensive, you're not going to find it here. So you just have to accept that. If that means you're moving past it, you're not going to try it, then so be it. Skip it. But this is a beautifully elegant fragrance, and it falls in line with what Creed does well. A fresh elegance, a fresh sophistication. This is fresh, almost aquatic citrus with dry tobacco and this musky, salty ambergris kind of enveloping the scent, creating this kind of alluring membrane to the scent. Someone described this in a comment on a video I did recently. They said this fragrance smells like Millesime Imperial with a dry tobacco. I can see where they're coming from with that. There is this interesting dusty quality that I get out of Millesime Imperial that I don't attribute to tobacco because there's no tobacco there. I think it might be coming from a floral, maybe like iris or something. But here it is more intensified. That tobacco is really where it's coming from, but it's a little less aquatic, I would say. More citrusy, less aquatic. But I think it's the ambergris that gives it that aquatic feel because of the saltiness. Yeah, in a way, it's very similar to Millesime Imperial, but by no means the same or redundant. They do just happen to share this one quality that unites them, but it is its own thing. I love the way it wears. Again, very elegant, very gentlemanly and sophisticated. Not a screamer, a confident scent, definitely mature smelling, but does not smell outdated or old-fashioned to me. I don't get that vibe. You might get that vibe, so I can't make any guarantees. Nonetheless, I think this is going to be a great scent that no one's still going to be talking about this fall, and it's a perfect fall fragrance for those of you looking for something light but classy, something that you don't need to scream to get attention. When people come close to you, they will smell it. They will give you the feedback or not. But either way, they're going to find you put together, clean, again, sophisticated. And you're just going to make a great impression if you're looking for that. This is one to consider from Creed. So that is Creed Tabarome Millesime. I'm going to have this linked along with every other fragrance I just talked about down below in the description. Let me know what you think of these fragrances down in the comments if you've tried them. Once again, if you haven't tried them, links in the description. Go check them out at By Beauty. I want to thank By Beauty for sponsoring this video. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.